But if people unite, farm on this person's land, the next one, farm on their land, everybody's crop will grow at the same time. I won't be concerned that my neighbor will go and steal from me. A family that has no farm, people unite to go and farm for them, so that they will not become dependent. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? It's a beautiful Saturday early morning, 6:29 a.m. I'm guessing it should be super late in Nigeria, Friday night. Beautiful Friday night. And showing up. Oh man, Emmanuel Kings, I see you. You're welcome. Today, we'll dive into a topic that someone sent me a video, like a link or something about. I didn't really respond, and then he sent me an anonymous. There it is. Hi Fortson, I trust you're good. I've tried to reach you, but I think this is the best way. My father is late and his properties is being dragged by his sons. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid people might start killing brother and sister. I find this topic a little bit concerning, a little bit bothersome, something that's very predominant in our culture as Nigerians, as Igbo people. We have this, I call it the stereotypical negative about how we run our families. Yes, the world, they like us, they admire whatever it is we do, how our culture is. However, there's a downside to that, our glorious Naija vibe, Igbo vibe. And I think it's high time we start talking about these things. It's very much high time. This idea of us being the pallbearers of the African culture, pallbearers of tradition, the pallbearers of what the other cultures should emulate, and even sometimes they envy it. I would oftentimes tell people that what you envy is really not what it is. What you envy is really what it is. And what that looks like is simple. It's very simple. Say now, Papa, Mama, they've got kids. Let me use the ideal setting. Most families in Nigeria, they have about 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. Ideal, which is fine. And then the man somehow is a businessman, acquires wealth, then dies suddenly without a will, and even sometimes with a will. When he dies, nothing happens. So how do you split inheritance amongst the kids? First of all, I'll put out a disclaimer. There's this notion that women don't get property in Igbo land or in most cultures in Nigeria. That's false, very much false. But because the African culture, the Igbo culture prioritizes the boy child, the male child, it seems like women don't get anything. I'll tell you for free. My mom's mom, my grandma, she's the one that built the first upstairs in her village. The first upstairs, this is like years ago. My mom's mom is the first person to build an upstairs in her husband's. So maybe there was a law she's breaking or she broke. I can tell you for a fact that she, a woman, is the first person to build a duplex upstairs, her husband's home. So if you're just joining us,
this show is not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
If you're just joining us, you're welcome. So that stereotype is already debunked. Yes, women can own property, women can acquire property, can inherit property. However, we know that as Nollywood portrays it, remember, Nollywood portrays that scenario for a reason, where the man dies, his brothers and his sons are now dragging his property. It's there for a reason, because it was very prevalent in the 80s, 90s, the early 2000s, very prevalent, to the degree that sometimes the man's brothers or half-brothers would want to buy him so that they could inherit, take over his property while his children are still young. So we know that to be a thing. Now, if we're to circle back to this guy's story, this anonymous story, we know that those things are still prevalent today, where there's power imbalance. I can relate, I can understand. So the first thing I would say is this: be careful. So which is say your own head first for those who are not Igbo. First of all, but Amanji Makambabu Arogo, you go run because of fight, because say you go die. That's why you should run. And in the same light, preparation It's not fair. If you're getting prepared, prepare yourself. Doesn't mean you're afraid. Sometimes war could come at your doorstep. Take a few steps back. That's you preparing. Doesn't mean you're afraid. Because us as Igbos, us as Africans, Nigerians, DCOG, we know. We don't think. We know that the family structure is your beginning. It's your everything. Those people, those 6 men that will carry you 6 feet under when shit goes wrong, you don't mess with them. That community, you don't mess with them. You're accountable to them as they are accountable to you. One tree doesn't make a forest. You need those trees. You need multiple trees to be able to make a forest. So it's embedded in us. We are codependent on each other. Over here, people rely on the police. People can be like, I don't need my dad anymore. Dad is gone. Whatever he or she needs, they can easily outsource for the right price and with the right rights. Oh, I have a right to the police. I have a right to childcare. I have a right to this. I have a right to that. Yeah. A lot of people outsource family values. However, for us as Africans, there are things you can't outsource. Even the person where they do them for you will ask you, are you normal? Are you okay? Your head correct? Will ask you. So what that means is you are not as compulsory as you are compulsory as an integral part of your village, of your family tree. You're not that compulsory, but we need you. And your brother, not that compulsory, we need you. And you call my million wafufu. It is in unity that we thrive as Africans, even when we don't like each other. And that is the part where I'm going to. We already understand the idea of coming together for a common goal. Back in the days, families would, unite and pick days for cultivating on their lands. Uboseke, on Eke Day, we'll go and farm on Ugo's farm as a family. Neighbors, other families would truly, they will connect, unite. Let's go and farm. The next one, every family here, that's that collective effort. Why? Some people be like, no, why don't you farm on your own? You farm on your own. You farm on your own. Guess what happens? By the time every family says, let's farm on our own, one. You take more time cultivating on your land. That farming season pass and it's more stressful. But if people unite, Igwebike, that's where it started. Unite, farm on this person's land. The next one, farm on their land, and so on and so forth. Within maybe 10, 20, if it's 10 families, within 10 days, their farms are ready. Why? So that everybody's crop will grow at the same time. I won't be concerned that my neighbor will go and steal from me, or that my neighbor will wake up one day stealing from me because he doesn't have a farm. In fact, a family that has no farm, people unite to go and farm for them so that they can plant, so that they will not become dependent on the others when it is harvest season. That's how you mitigate issues like envy. Oh, this family is envying that family. Nah. Igwebike is important. We already understand why families need to unite. That's how families unite to form Omonna. From Omonna, the bigger one is you now have a village. Different Omonnas form a village. Different villages form a town. Different towns form a local government. Different local governments form a state. Different states form a country. Different countries, because you see how the beginning point of a society is the family. It is embedded in us and we know it. I'm not saying something we don't know. We already know these things. But there's a downside to it. And that is where this guy's DM sprung from.
You don't know, say it, I'm on it, in. Check me pockets, man. $3 man says it's a hot $1, a $200. Fifth like the motherfucker. $1,000 blazing hot, man. I straight to tell them, spend the money, man. When you mark the man.